Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Redstone for Beginners, and in this episode we're going to talk about pulse extenders. So first of all, quick explanation of what a pulse extender actually is. So a pulse in Minecraft, in Redstone, is just a signal that turns on and off. So that is a pulse. It's turning that redstone lamp on. If I use a wooden button, I get a longer pulse. So it's the period of time in which a piece of redstone is on for. Now, in terms of why pulse extenders can be useful, well, let's look at one example. So here I have an input with this button and it's powering this comparator in subtract mode, which is going to work as a clock. See my episode on redstone clocks if you haven't already, where I explained this. And that's going to power this dispenser, which is chock full of ender pearls. I want it to dispense a certain number of ender pearls for me, let's say. So if I press this wooden button, it gives me some ender pearls just like that. But if I look at my inventory, I only get 7. And let's say I want more ender pearls. Well, I'm going to need a pulse extender, because the longer this pulse is active, the more times this redstone clock will activate this dispenser, so I should get some more ender pearls. Now, I'm only going to show you 2 designs for pulse extenders in this beginner focused series. The first one is using comparators. Now, I've got exactly the same setup here with exactly the same comparator clock, but I've moved the input signal a bit further back to leave us room for our redstone. So I'm going to place 2 pieces of redstone dust here. I'm going to place a comparator facing out this way towards the circuit and another going backwards. And then I'm going to connect the rest up with redstone dust. So I've almost made a loop of redstone dust with 2 comparators. Now, have you noticed if I press this wooden button now, the clock stays on for much longer, and I actually get 11 pearls, which is more than the 7 that I got before. So this circuit here is making that pulse last much longer. In other words, the redstone signal is staying on for far longer than if I just used a wooden button by itself. Now, the other good thing about this design is that it's flexible. You can add more comparators if you need more delay. So here is this first circuit again. You can see the amount of delay it adds. You could also see the signal strength get weaker and weaker, which is how this circuit works. But if I want more delay, I can just add more comparators. So this one has 4 instead of 2. And if you notice, these comparators are still facing outwards. These comparators are still going backwards, so they always need to make this loop. But apart from that, you can add as many comparators as you like, and the more comparators you add, the more delay that you have. And to show that, I'll press this button, and as you can see, this redstone lamp is turning on for much longer and staying on for much longer than that design over there. Now, the second circuit that I'm going to show you is a little bit more complex, and it does look a little bit like an Etho hop clock, but it's not. It is a pulse extender. This design is from Code Crafted, and it's fantastic if you want a much longer pulse. So as you can see, we've got 2 hoppers that are fed into each other here, and we've got 2 pistons that can be powered here, and a redstone block that's going to swap places in these 2 positions when I activate it. And your output is going to be this redstone dust here, so it's going to turn on that redstone lamp. And all you need to do is you need to place a certain number of items in this first hopper here that the redstone block is on. Now, if you notice, when I press this button here, the redstone block switches over, that redstone dust gets powered, which powers the redstone lamp, and it really lasts quite a long time. First, the redstone block gets pushed back, and then finally, that piston is going to get retracted, and it's going to turn off. Okay then, to build this one, you'll need to first place a temporary block here, and then right click that with a hopper. Then you're going to remove that temporary block and right click with the hopper again, and they should be facing into each other. If you have a look at the spouts, they are pointing into each other like that. Now we need a comparator output from each of these hoppers. So there's a comparator output and there's another comparator output, and both of them should be going into a block. Now remember how comparators work. Whenever there's an item in this hopper, we'll get a redstone signal out like that. We need redstone dust on both of these blocks, and next we need to place the pistons. Now on the input side, you are going to need a sticky piston. because it's going to have to pull the redstone block back. But on the output side, you only need a regular piston. So you can see the difference between the texture there. The sticky piston has the green from the slime ball on it. Next, all you need to do is place a redstone block, and then you need to place items into one of these hoppers. So I'm going to place 16 TNT in this, and it may activate one time once you first build it, but after that you just have your input on this block here, and then you've got your pulse extender. And I should say that the more items you have in here, the longer your pulse can be. So it's very easy to customize. This design was actually made by Codecrafters, and I'll put a link to his original video in the description, so please check that out. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed or if you found anything useful, and I'll see you in the next episode.